Welcome into View from the West Instant REAX podcast for week number 7. I can't believe we're here. Week 7 already. Let's get Kyle on the screen. Mitch, you're here. Mitch, are you there? Can I hear you?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. There we go. Live,
Okay, perfect.
live streaming, everybody. Live television. Here we go.
That's right.
Mitch, we're here. I got to admit, it's been a little bit of a scramble. I had to stay a little
As
later.
always.
Well, yeah. I had to stay a little later at Geneseo than I, maybe intended to because I wanted to get, you always got to get that one last touchdown, that one last play. If I'm in Geneseo, I'm getting Pearsonitis, right? I'm staying as long as I can.
It's funny you say that because he texted me tonight that he had a case of the Pearsonitis tonight because he was trying to go back and forth between the games that he was at. He was trying to figure out what Sherrard was up to, and he was trying to figure out what Princeville and Antelope Weathersfield were up to. So, it's even the GOAT gets it from time to time.
I've learned from the best. I will say that. So here we are. Welcome, everybody. Mitch, we already had like 20 people waiting in the lobby, waiting to get in here right before we went live. So I love it. Absolutely love it. I saw a great game tonight, and I had to leave at halftime, but that atmosphere at Geneseo was incredible. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but I love going to a game at Geneseo when it's Geneseo and Sterling especially. The rivalry just feels big, and it just feels special and different at Geneseo. I love it.
Well, it was a big game. I mean, it was a lot of implications there in the Western Big Six, so a great win for Geneseo. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun being there, but I will say, by being there, Mitch, I have really missed out tonight. I got back. I got back, and I was in pure scramble mode to get my video edited. I sent my video to WQAD to make it on their show, and so in the meantime, I've seen bits and pieces. On Friday nights, Mitch, it's incredible. I end up with about like 60 missed texts because I just cannot keep up. So It's great. I love that people are keeping us informed, but I literally cannot keep up. So that's why you're here, Mitch.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
I love it. So I guess I'll start. We have Kyle Kampmeyer in here as well, or maybe he just bowed out. But I guess just give me your general overviews. What are your highlights tonight? And then as our guests join in, we'll start diving into things.
Yeah, well, we certainly, it was coronation night in the track. We figured both teams would win. We figured Monmouth-Roseville would win over Hall. And I listened to this game, and that was probably if we talk to Coach Adolphson tonight, that was probably their most complete, most impressive win of the season. I mean, they were all gassed tonight. Hall couldn't get anything going. We know Hall's been having a pretty upstart year, really. They've been playing their opponents really tough, but it didn't look like it tonight, and that was really all the credit to the Titans. And then the Rock Ridge game, Merco really played a tight game early before Rock Ridge just took over late. I don't remember what the final that was. It was a lot, but we crowned 2 champions tonight. We crowned Rock Ridge and we crowned Monmouth-Roseville, so that's always exciting. Big game like we just talked about in the Western Big Six. You had a freshman quarterback in the LLC throw for 7 touchdowns tonight. Kyle's here to break it all down. There were some. I thought Lena Winslow looked like Lena Winslow maybe for the first time tonight with a big win over Galena. So, yeah, a fantastic week 7. Lot to talk about, and this is the place to be to do it.
Yeah. Well, hey, Kyle, I think you're kind of working on some things on the back end here, but I'll bring you in to ask about what are your general oversight, general takes on tonight before we really dive into the details.
Well, I'm still trying to get caught up with everything because I literally just got home from Stockton, but obviously there's been a huge ordeal with a lot of different upsets around the state tonight. So that's definitely going to reshape the playoff picture that we were just talking about last week. And I'm telling you what, usually we see this kind of chaos in week 8, not in week 7. And here we are. And there's a lot to discuss. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm kind of in for the chaos any week. It's fun, especially you get later in the year. It gets to be a lot of fun. So I'm kind of in for all of it. So Dazzo is on his way, I believe. I have not heard from Ty Taylor yet. I believe he will also be in. We have coaches that I'm trying to work with on the back end to coordinate here to get them in as well. So let's see. Do we have Matt Randazzo in here? We may have Dazzo coming up soon. Mitch, do you want to start? Let's start in the Western Big Six, and then we'll kind of, start moving our way through scoreboards, and then kind of see where we end up, I guess, essentially. So.
Oh, that works.
All right, here we go. Let's pull up. Here's the Western Big Six scoreboard.
Okay, you had Quincy defeating Galesburg tonight, 44-22. Hunter Schuckman had a really nice night, and Quincy pulled away late there. United Township gets back on track, 48-21 over Rock Island. Isaiah Neverat had over 200 yards rushing tonight. The big game, maybe with the most implications, Geneseo with a very impressive 31-10 win over Sterling at home. And then nothing to talk about in the Moline-Alleman game. Certainly there's no drama there. Moline got the forfeit win yesterday over Alleman.
Yeah, so I guess we'll start with Sterling and Geneseo because I was there, and I thought it was a ton of fun. It was a great game, and I was impressed with the way Sterling really was able to. They very deceptive on offense. I'll admit, as the videographer, I was getting faked out quite a bit in that first quarter in those first couple of drives. And Matt Furlong really does a great job of game planning, and I was impressed with the way they kind of use some misdirection, or I don't know, just the way that they run their offense. But then that kind of opened up, I felt like, the passing game a little bit. They were able to find Kai Weinzerl kind of on some short screen passes or short passes over the middle, and he's just an athlete that can make plays. So maybe we'll get to those highlights in a little bit, but I do want to bring in, let's see, we have Matt Randazzo, and we also have a coach from the Northwest Upstate Illini. So, Kyle, why don't we read through those scores real quick, and then we'll bring in the coach we got here. So let's get to the media. Let's get to the NUIC football scoreboard. Kyle, you want to read through the finals for us?
Sure. Stockton over EPC 46-8. That was our game of the week. Stockton definitely dominating in that one. Dupec pulls out a tight one, 34-20 over Forreston. Fulton in a shootout with Southwestern East Dubuque wins 56-40. Morrison takes care of Dakota 48-16, and Lena Winslow with the impressive 46-0 win over Galena. Man, lots of big games there.
Yeah, lots of big games. One of them being Dupec. The Rivermen get the win 34-20 over Forreston. And before we go any farther, let's bring in the head coach of the Rivermen, Kyle Demas, here, joining us on the Instant Reacts podcast. Kyle, thanks so much for taking some time. Talk a little bit about, what was your game plan this week? What did you see in Forreston that you knew you'd have to get to take care of to get the job done?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Probably the biggest challenge we had this week was our starting quarterback is at the state golf tournament right now. So that definitely had an impact on the game plan. Forreston does a great job of keeping things simple and playing physical at the line of scrimmage. So would love that plays well into what we're doing this year a little bit more than we have in the past. We knew we were going to have to be super disciplined. We thought coming off of playing Byron last week, we were in a good spot. And, boy, they gave us everything that we could handle tonight. So hats off to Coach Janicki and the staff down at Forreston. And super proud of the way our kids battled and gutted one out tonight, though.
Yeah. Coach, I want to ask you a little bit about not just this week, but kind of big picture. Since you've taken over here, the offense has shifted a little bit. We know how successful the Hoffman brothers were, and now looking at what you're doing now and being really successful at it, tell me, what did you see when you took over as head coach in the personnel that you thought, okay, here's what will work for us based on our personnel? What did you see? What did you want to install? And then I guess how happy are you with the execution so far?
Yeah, I think it came down to both both the physical and the mental side of the kids that we have right now, both from a standpoint of we've got a really strong group, a really kind of nasty group across the front that we thought that we could kind of instill this type of offense with. Don't have quite the explosive players like what the Hoffmans have been, especially Cooper as of late. But boy, we got some tough kids, and we got kids that are great leaders, and they've bought into this system. And it was honestly very easy from the standpoint of getting their buy-in, because this is how they like to play, and this really feeds into what they want to do. So it wasn't anything novel. It's not like we pulled out all the strings to do this. We just have a really good group of kids that bought into what we tried selling them.
Yeah. Mitch, I know you've been following along with Dupek tonight and this season. What do you got for Coach?
Coach, I think you're selling your guys a little short there. I mean, Dermot Dolan and Lucas Rossow have been outstanding for you this year. I mean, what was this week like, coming off of a tough loss against Byron in a game that you led at halftime, and then Byron kind of turned it on there in the second half? How did you regroup so quickly with these next three games in your schedule? Pretty pivotal for the NUIC standings.
I think the biggest thing that we took away from the Byron game is there was a lot of wins within that loss. From the standpoint of all of our goals, as far as our season goals, conference championship, all of that still remained completely intact. We didn't lose anything in that standpoint last week against Byron. And if anything, it helped us learn some of the areas that we need to clean up. Tonight did the same thing. I wish tonight would have went a little smoother, but these guys tend to like to take the hard way. So that's what we did tonight, and they gutted one out. But overall, I think the Byron game is going to be so good for us in the long run, even with the loss on our schedule. It reminds me of a few years ago when we played St. Teresa. I don't remember exactly what year it was. We had St. Teresa come up and play us in Pecatonica. It poured rain that night, and they had a running back. His name was Denham Cook, and man, I don't know if I've ever seen a kid run as hard as he did. And that game, though, it must have been 2021, because we won conference that year. We beat Lean at the end of the season. So if I can see ahead of us what that Byron game might do, I could see it doing a lot of what that same team did for us back in 2021.
Yeah. Kyle Kampmeyer from NUICfootball.com. I know you got questions for Kyle. So, Kyle to Kyle, what do you got?
Well, Coach, obviously that was a big win there for you tonight with Forreston. Coach Keenan Janicki in his post-game show said the exact same things that you reiterated about him, about yourself and the program that you have going on. I know he was excited with his fight. Obviously, like Mitch said, Dermot Dolan, huge night tonight. I think he had over 300 yards, which definitely puts him into the conference lead now for rushing yards and over 1,000 yards for the season. Missing with Lucas Rossow tonight, with him being at the golf tournament, and congratulations to him, by the way, as he made it into the final round and will be going at it again tomorrow. What did that change as far as your dynamic? Obviously, it did affect you a little bit, but you have to be excited with the fact that you set yourself up for a conference championship game next week with Stockton in Durand at that.
Yeah. When I talked to Josh at Big Radio after the game, he mentioned that Dermot went over 300, and we knew he had a big night. I wasn't quite sure where he was at, and boy, we had to ride on his back a lot tonight. And boy, that guy, he's a machine, man. He doesn't stop. He doesn't know what the word quit or give up means. It's not in his vocabulary. So he just goes. Not only is he strong, he's fast, but he has that never quit attitude. And tonight, in the absence of Lucas a little bit, I think we missed some of that explosiveness that Lucas gives us. I'm super happy with the guys that stepped up. We had two kids step in and play quarterback. One of them a senior, Braden Cox, and the other one a junior, Blake Scroggins, both guys that have seen reps at times this year, but they stepped in and did exactly what we needed them to do tonight. We didn't need them to be Lucas. We didn't need them to do those kind of things. We needed them to do exactly what we wanted within the game plan, and they did that. They gave us great looks. They got the ball where it needed to go, and man, I give those two guys a ton of credit for both being quarterbacks the last few years and having Lucas kind of jump in front of you this year from his running back spot, these guys have been great teammates. And tonight they had an opportunity. Blake had an opportunity at the end to take us down the field and put a touchdown on the board that kind of put the game out of reach. So I can't say enough about the team dynamic that these guys have, the truly selfless way that they play and build each other up. And there was no animosity for Lucas's decision. Everyone 100% behind him. Man, go swing the sticks and win a state golf championship if you can. And he's in a great spot to be in the top 10. So we're super happy for him. We told him that we'd take care of business tonight, and then thankfully we did.
Coach, talk about, it's a pretty unique situation when you have a player, an athlete that good on your football team going and playing state level golf as well. What do you appreciate about this small school football and small school athletics that really, this is a perfect example of it, right? Like a kid just really showing out for his school in multiple platforms.
Yeah, Lucas is a special kid. There isn't a program in the state that wouldn't want him on their team. He's the ultimate teammate. He's the ultimate competitor. His preparation is second to none. He had the whole season for golf mapped out before football even started. So he knew when he would miss, when he would be at golf. He put in all the time outside of football season. He's a truly special human, not just an athlete, but he's just a remarkable young man. And as far as the kids in the program and the community, everyone is so excited for him. It's really unique and small school. You guys see it, like it truly is a family. I think maybe more so in some areas than when you get from larger communities and larger programs where we share so many athletes across different sports. It's a little unique doing it during the same season, but a lot of basketball players, a lot of wrestlers, baseball, all that stuff. So we have to work really closely with all the coaches, especially like our basketball and our wrestling coaches when we're trying to, and they're in the middle of their season. So it's really special when you have that sort of family atmosphere, and we've got it across 2 districts and communities that, there's nowhere else I'd rather be, and there's no other communities and schools I'd rather represent.
Yeah. I don't want to start a fight here, but Adam says that Demas is his favorite Kyle on the show. So, Coach, you win that one over Kyle Kampmeyer.
Yeah, leave it to Cher of all people, Alina Winslow, coach at that.
Well, Coach, we talked about, what that Byron game maybe preps you for down the road, but the next 2 weeks for you, man, they're the heavy hitters, right? It's Stockton and it's Lena Winslow. Now that you're there, I know you haven't had much time to game prep, but it's really not looking ahead anymore because now we're there. What do you think about these teams, and has your group talked about it? I mean, as the season progresses, knowing these two are waiting at the end?
Yeah, I mean, when I guess kind of, but we don't talk about it regularly. But when you look at our schedule, you knew what the gauntlet was going to be coming down the stretch. And this goes even back, I mean, EPC week 5, Byron week 6, Forest and Stockton, Lena. You knew that it was going to be an absolute grinder down the stretch. So we had to take care of business up front. We did. We talk about one play at a time. And in the course of a game, our goal is to break the opponent down one play at a time. And we know we can't win the game on the opening kickoff. It's going to take 120 or whatever it is, however many plays the game takes. So we really don't look that far forward. We know it's there. We know it's coming. Forston was the topic this week. We took care of business now. Next, it changed to Stockton. That's going to be a whole challenge in and of itself. And hopefully we can get business taken care of in Durand next week, and then we'll move on to Lena Winslow and whoever's next after that. But I think these kids and our coaching staff really do a great job with that mindset of knowing what's there, knowing what's coming, knowing the expectation of what we have to do, but still being present and taking care of what we need to at the moment.
Yep. Mitch, what else you got for Coach?
Well, I think you just wrapped it up. I think we're really looking forward to next week. Certainly the matchup of the year in the NUIC, it could determine the conference crown. So just kind of, again, to piggyback off of Greg's question, where does that prep start? Certainly it's film, but, what's your week going to look like for prep for Stockton?
Yeah, so coaches will all get together this weekend. We'll start breaking down film, get the offensive and defensive game plans together. Monday nights are pretty light. We'll review film, offensive and defensive install. We'll do some offense and special team, offensive walkthrough a little bit light on Monday. With how physical this last stretch is going to be, we're really trying to stay off the bodies during the week as much as we can, but still accomplish what we need to. So maybe a little bit of a change from, some of the, if we're playing a physical team, we got to prepare for a physical week, right? We're blessed with special kids that have the ability to turn it on, that physicality when they need to. So Monday will be pretty light. Tuesday will honestly be pretty light as well, but it'll be more of a high intense speed practice than any physicality. Wednesday night we'll get after it a little bit, and then Thursday is more of an accelerated walkthrough pace, and hopefully be ready to go.
Kyle, what else you got for Coach here before we let him off the hook?
Well, it's easy to say that'll be our game of the week next week. So you can expect me to be in Durand on Friday nights. And, honestly, what we talked about earlier this year, we expected you guys to be where you're at currently with the opportunity for an NUIC conference crown on. A couple weeks ago, we had you on our NUIC All Access show, and you could tell with Lucas and Brady that they were excited for the opportunity to go out with the conference title as you guys move into the Big Northern next year. So all I got to say is good luck, man. It's been great to be able to watch you guys change what you guys are doing foundation-wise, but at the same time, keeping the level that DuPec football has risen to at a very high level. So keep it going, man.
Yep.
Yeah,
Coach,
thank you.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, should be a fun one next week, Kyle. We got homecoming, and we're honoring the 1985 Durand runner-up team. So 40 years for those guys. So we'll have a bunch of guys, bunch of alumni back. It should be a fun atmosphere in Durand next week.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time. And Mitch and I have always kind of talked about how this Riverman program kind of grew up as our podcast developed. When we first started, your co-op was pretty young, and as our show has progressed, this Riverman program has progressed along the way, and we love covering it. It's been a ton of fun. So congrats so far. Good luck the next couple weeks, and maybe more importantly, good luck in the 3A playoffs.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for all your coverage, man. You guys do a heck of a job.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Coach. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
See you guys.
Hey, we got Matt Randazzo on the horn here. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. I think you guys can hear me, but I can't see you.
I don't know what's
wrong. How
do
you do this every week?
I get in, I get out, I go back in, I go back out. I got my phone, and so I can see you guys because of course I'm watching the show on my phone.
Okay.
So I can kind of see. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know what's wrong, but so what have we been doing, guys? What's new?
Well, we had Kyle Demas in from Durand Pecatonica. DuPec they get the big win tonight over Forreston, 34-20. That sets up two really big matchups in the NUIC in the next 2 weeks. They play Stockton, they play Lena Winslow. So, yeah, it gets really interesting. It's really exciting in the NUIC. So, Mitch, let's read through some scores here. Let's go into the
Greg,
yes.
Are you going to mention my hat?
I saw that. I love it.
Yeah.
What happened? Whatever happened to the dog chewed other hat? Is it gone?
No, it's in my closet because God bless my wife. She's like, we can probably buy one of the new, because he chewed the back part. You know what I mean? Like where you snap it. So she's like, we could buy another one. I could sew it on. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably never going to happen. But yeah, I'm back, baby. All right. I'm sorry. I'm just excited about my hat. Move on.
I love it. All right. Well, let's pull up the Three Rivers Athletics scores here. Mitch, give us the rundown of what the track looked like tonight.
Yeah, well, like we talked about in the open, we crowned two champions tonight. So starting on the Mississippi side, Monmouth Roseville goes back-to-back in the track Mississippi with a 57-14 win over Hall. Some late-breaking stats here. Sorry, let me pull it up. You had a new school record. Nick Houston, 19 rushes, 282 yards, and 3 touchdowns in that one for the Titans. You had Sherrard beating Kewanee 52-7, and Princeton took care of business against Mendota 48-10. On the Rock side, you had Rock Ridge winning this division for the third time in 4 years, a 61-24 victory over Mercer County. Colin Schweigen was over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns in this one.
Wow.
Erie Prophetstown scored 40 unanswered to beat Orion 40-14, and a very tight game. It was 16-14 late in this game. Newman pulled away 24-14. Newman beats Riverdale.
Yeah. Did you say Erie Prophetstown scored their 40 unanswered? That Orion was up 14-0?
I'm pretty confident it was 14-0 Orion. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Bryce or Boy would have to confirm that for me.
Sure.
He was all over it.
Just Bryce. He says, we just call him Bryce now. We're good.
Come on, Bryce.
Sorry.
No, a great win for EP, right? Because we talked about that as if Orion certainly. I mean, we're in week 7, so Orion had their backs against the wall. But this was a game that Erie had to win to kind of propel them into a playoff spot. So this is a great win for the Panthers tonight.
Yep. And it seemed like that Newman-Riverdale game was, well, it was a 10-point finish, but it was close throughout into the second half. That Riverdale hung around with Newman for a long time. It was
16-14. I think in the third, it might have been early fourth, and Riverdale missed a 2-point conversion to tie it before Newman added one more. So, yeah, great game there tonight.
Yep. All right. Well, we talked about Monmouth-Roseville getting the win 57-14 over Hall. They claim back-to-back track Mississippi championships. So let's bring in the head coach of the Monmouth-Roseville Titans, Jeremy Adolphson. There he is. Coach.
I picked you this week, Coach. Don't yell at me. I picked you guys, all right?
So, Coach, I know it was a goal this year to get the Titans back-to-back conference championships. You really felt like that was something that good Oh, look, you already got the shirt.
Look at that shirt. Look at the shirt.
Oh, my gosh. So, Coach, clearly it means a lot to get back-to-back championships here at Monmouth-Roseville. Just talk about kind of the energy tonight and the way you guys came out and performed.
Just a tremendous performance from our kids. Hall came out really physical, stacked the box on us, and essentially we're running 8 to 9 guys at the line of scrimmage on each snap there early on, but our guys found a way to crack in and get a couple scores going, and then we're able to kind of bust it open after that. Just really happy with the effort and the execution once again. The great thing about this group is we really haven't had too many slow drives, definitely no slow quarters. Like they just came out and played in the realm of our top level of football, more quarters, more drives than not. So yeah, great atmosphere tonight. Getting a chance to clinch it at home was a big deal for our kids. Only 4 home games this year. But we took another step closer to maybe making sure you get a 5th one, hopefully, here in a few weeks down the road. But yeah, it was a big goal of ours to go out and try to go back to back. Obviously only doing it one time in school history. That you're just kind of continuing to extend that. And as I said, to our guys and several people, but I told our guys tonight, and if you'd have told me 7-0 conference champions tonight in the summer, I'd have taken it. I'd have thinking that I thought we were capable. I don't think I would have thought that this was the path we'd have taken as far as the way the scores have looked and the way the performances have been, because they've found a way to show up each and every night and play their tails off and play with a ton of emotion and play with each other and play for each other, more importantly, and just they do a fantastic job every night, and eventually there's a point where usually we kind of break the other team, and our guys they just keep showing up and they work their butts off and they play a brand of football that should be pretty good most of the time. We did throw 2 touchdown passes tonight, which was pretty cool. So that might be a big deal. It might be breaking news. But maybe the biggest news of the night, I don't know if anyone remembers Martell Hunter at Monmouth-Roseville, but his single game rushing record went down tonight. Nick Houston had 282 yards in just a little under 3 quarters of play tonight. So he's the new all-time single game leading rusher. So he wants a little helmet. That's what he wants.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things in here. I don't want to pass up the opportunity to ask, if you got a couple of these back-to-back champs shirts just laying around, you just let me and Mitch know. You just let us know about that.
Whoa,
We can do that. We can do that.
Why just a couple? Are we serious?
If you got 4 of them, that's excellent.
I like free
I can
stuff.
do that.
Okay.
I could get Mitch's wrapped up in a Morrison banner maybe and send it that way.
Why? Hey, they got to win tonight. First win for the Mustangs tonight.
Did they? Good. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, you're dropping a Martell Hunter reference. One of my favorite athletes that I covered in my time around here. He was electric. He was fun to watch. I remember talking to you maybe before a game, and I won't say the school, but I remember talking to you. It was a big game, and I just kind of asked you the general question about, like, what do you got to do tonight, coach? Like, what's it take? And you said, I think it's time for Hunter to put on Superman's cape. And he did that night. Yes. And you guys got a big win that night. So I'll leave the school be, but it was a great win for you back then. I remember he was a ton of fun. He was on the team when you won that playoff game, correct?
2012, yeah. Yeah, that's what his record actually was against an undefeated St. Joe Ogden team that came to our place week 7 that year, I think, and we pulled off a victory. He had 4 touchdowns rushing, and he had a touchdown on punt team, not punt return, punt team. He tackled the guy, took the ball away from him, and ran it in the end zone all by himself.
Wow! Oh, amazing. So, I mean, that record falling tonight means a lot based on just what we've talked about with that team, with that player that, was a really great athlete. So, Mitch, you were following along with Monmouth Roseville tonight. I thought what was interesting is you mentioned maybe that this was their most complete game. So I'll let you take over and ask Coach about kind of what you saw tonight.
Coach, I said at the top of the show, it was just kind of an all gas, no breaks effort from you guys tonight. We've, been impressed with Hall this year. They seem a little bit more upstart than they have been in years past. They played Princeton tough, and you did not allow their offense to do anything. So that's more on the defensive side. But on the offensive side, every possession you had, you might have not scored on the first possession, and then after that, it seemed like you did every time. So, great performance from Nick, great performance from Landon. So that group just continues to look really, really good. And shout out to the linemen, of course. Absolutely. Just that offensive unit looks really, really good.
Absolutely, yeah. The offensive line today, we actually one of our top end guys actually got hurt in the first couple plays there and didn't play. So we actually went to a sixth lineman who always plays. Usually to give us a breather, but went with those guys as a front 5, and we go for almost 500 yards rushing, and but that's the way this group's been all year. We were missing a 3-year starter for the first 4 weeks of the season, and the guys just kind of stepped up, and the good guys were really good, and the guys that needed to step up and play a role they weren't used to playing were able to do that. And defensively did a great job. Really did not let them run the football at all inside. They were trying to get outside. Their quarterback got loose on us one time, and as we've talked about before, we're not the fastest team in the world. So when he turned the corner, made a nice little move, he was gone. I think he had 67 yards on that play. And I think they caught a pass right before halftime. Otherwise, that touchdown was their only first down, I believe. So the defense played fantastic. And they were just throwing so many people at the box. Actually, our first touchdown was a halfback pass. Nick Houston threw it. He threw it to Elliott Rogers for a touchdown to get us going. And we hit a couple little quick screens and tried to get them to back off a little bit. And then once we got that going a little bit, then the running game took over with Montroy and Nick tonight. We're fantastic with those guys there up front. And again, I just, I'm really just kind of amazed that, I think most teams, and you look at scores, you follow along with games, and, most teams have those quarters, those lulls where like things don't get off to a great start for you. Maybe that lull in the middle, and they just really haven't done it this year, which is a credit to their preparation. It's a credit to the emotion they play with, and I think it's just a credit to how tight our team is. They come out ready to go, and we challenge them every single week to leave your mark. That this is all Hall is going to know of you is what happens tonight. So you want to go out there and play as well as you can, play as physical as you can, and the goal is to get a victory, but you also want to be impressive, and you want to make sure that team walks off the field and they don't think that it was a what if type situation where they could have got back in the game. You want to be as dominant as possible, and our kids take that to heart, because I'm telling you, when they scored that touchdown, our kids were mad. We got stopped our first drive on 4th and goal. They stopped us on 1st and goal. Hadn't been stopped all year on that. Our kids were ticked coming off the field. So it's good to face that kind of adversity and be able to come back and do so well in front of your home crowd. And obviously, you want to make sure you spend money on T-shirts. You want to make sure you can pass those suckers out at the end of the night.
Hey, exactly. Hey, Matt Randazzo from Off the Air, you picked the Titans tonight, so What do you got?
Never,
for Coach?
I've never not picked the Titans. They're my favorite. I mean, I think my favorite team in the whole world.
Yep.
Coach, I'll be the first because I think Wednesday Ty was on my show and we already unintendedly started talking about Rock Ridge and Monmouth Roseville, and then I think today Greg and I on the show were already talking about Monmouth Roseville and Rock Ridge. So now we can responsibly do it. You look at Rock Ridge, Cullen Schweigen had over 300 yards passing again, and he's fantastic, and that's a style. And then obviously 500 yards almost rushing from Monmouth Roseville. It's a fascinating matchup. I know you want to let you guys enjoy this one, but looking ahead to next week, it's just what high school football is all about. 2 division champions playing in week 8, both with high expectations on this year in the regular season and beyond. Kind of just talk about next week briefly and your thoughts on a really good football team that you're going to be coming and visiting here against Rock Ridge.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, I've heard you guys say it and I believe it. Like, I think they can play as long as there's football games this year in 2A. They've got to be as good as anybody. Their quarterback is I think he's the best football player in the conference. I think he's a kid that he can run. If he's a running back, he'd be one of the best running backs in the conference, if not the best. And now they got him playing defense, and he can move, he can throw. They got 4 to 5 receivers out there that can really move and catch the ball, and they do a great job when he has to kind of ad lib a little bit back there. They do a great job of continuing to move. That's kind of what beat us last year. It wasn't the original play call; it was him buying time and finding a way to make a play. Like I think last year, I was telling his dad afterwards, like, man, there's 6 plays tonight where anybody else in the conference doesn't make that play. He made all 6 of them, and just you couldn't get off the field against them. So, yeah, they pose quite a challenge. It's definitely contrasting styles, but they're a physical team and they spread you out, but they are going to hit you, and they have one of the best defenses year in and year out. They're going to stack the box. They play cover 0 against everybody, and they sure as heck aren't going to be scared of us, throwing the ball over the top. So they're going to put a lot of people up on the line of scrimmage, and the big thing for us is going to be execution and being able to, be a more physical team if we have any shot at all. Because I think on their starting offense and their starting defense, I'm not exaggerating. They have 6 guys that start that are faster than our fastest kid. There's no doubt about it. It's pure track speed. Not talking about a football field necessarily, but so we obviously have to do things to combat that. We got to make them try to play through us, and we got to obviously try to play through them. But then, when there's opportunities, we got to take advantage of those things against them. And we've been doing some things throughout the year. And I'll be honest, Rock Ridge has kind of became, because we have struggled against them. My time here, I think we beat them 3 times, always at Rock Ridge, but we've only beat them 3 times in my time here, and they were all great wins when we did it. But we've had a lot of near misses against them, and so I'm going over Rock Ridge film literally in March and April and May, and we're thinking about plays and things that might be good against them that we can work on and try to have ready for them, just because they play a little different style. Their defense, as good as it is, it's high risk. They are bringing people to the line of scrimmage, and but they do such a great job with it. And they lost all their linemen, and Coach Henry coaches their offensive line. It doesn't matter who their guys are. They just get guys that block, and they convert JV quarterbacks this year and have them playing center, and then they're good. They do a great job. And I know this is one our kids really, really want for multiple reasons. But obviously that overall conference title feel to it would be another big reason. But the other thing is we need to get an 8th win, because we'd love to be home again. We only had 4 home games this year. We're going to have 4 home games this year. We want to get another home game. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an awesome week, really. I already can't wait for the game, but we absolutely need 4 good days of practice to be ready for those guys.
Coach, I got to ask you real quick, Greg. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So Nick Houston sets a school record in rushing, and he also throws a touchdown. Did you did you just slide that in real quick? Oh, by the way, he also threw a touchdown as well?
Yep. He threw one. He also caught one too. So he threw one, he caught one, and he ran for 3.
Coach, don't pay attention real quick, Coach. Mitch, Greg, seriously. The helmet, are we even going to talk about this, or can we just give it to him now?
There's contenders. I would say that there are contenders this week.
Hey, Coach, I'm trying, Coach.
So,
but
I love the trifecta.
Funny. So we've never won a little helmet, I will say that. But I was talking to Nick. So week 2, he had 232 yards and 4 touchdowns. He ran one in defensively too. And I walked by him at practice. We'd had a couple. We've won some other awards on WQAD and other places around here. Multiple.
Never
awards.
heard of it.
Man, I wish. I walked by Nick. I was like, I wish I was Nick Houston, where I'm going for 232, scoring 5 touchdowns, and everybody thinks there's going to be a bigger one down the road. So they're slow playing you on the athlete of the week, whether it's radio or whatever it is. I mean, he hasn't won a single athlete of the anything yet this year.
Hey, Coach.
But I think but also like he'll be a great basketball player and baseball player. So like even if he didn't get it, like he's still going to do great things. But yeah, I told us it'd be nice to be Nick Houston and know that I'm this good, but they all think there's more. Like they're kind of waiting for the big one, you know? So, but no, he's an awesome kid. I actually got to tell him right before he left. Actually, I was up on the radio, and his dad does color for the radio. And they were showing me the stats, and I was like, whoa, like saw the 282. And I turned and I said, I think that's exactly the Martell Hunter record. Like I think it's exactly 282 against St. Joe Ogden in 2012. And I went back and I checked it on our record board, and it was 277. So I got to see Nick before he left, and he's like, how many did I have? And I told him, he's like, whoa, I had no idea. I was like, well, I knew it was a lot, but 282 is a lot, you know? So it was pretty awesome.
Coach, can I book him on the show on Monday? I want him to be on Off the Air. Forget these guys. Like, forget them. Like, we'll just have him on the show.
Yeah.
We're done.
He would
done.
love to.
I love it.
And Michael Parsons mentioned he's a Roseville kid, so shout out to the Roseville Yorkwood Bearcats back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. They had some awesome. I actually saw Lyle Pierce, and we could go to weddings. So, yeah, the head coach of the Roseville Yorkwood Bearcats back in the day. Yeah.
I love that. So, Jeremy, before I let you go, you talked about Cullen Schweigen, and I think it's the ongoing joke with you that you've mentioned to, you know, his family and coaches that maybe it's time he focuses on baseball, you know, like maybe it's time that we just take a little break in football. I'll give you the platform, sir, that maybe it's time to make that argument.
Well, you know, he's been on a lot of these visits, game day visits, and someone in the Big Ten's got to be playing next Friday night. So we got to get him there. I got to get a hold of their head coach. And like, you know, I always thought like, you know, Tony Dungy would sit Peyton Manning those last 2 weeks when you're undefeated, you know, just make sure they're ready to roll for the playoffs. And, you know, maybe there's a way to maybe giving away one gets you a better situation. Top seed's not always the best situation, but no, in all seriousness, they've got some fantastic players. I got a lot of good friends over that way still. Got family there. I got a nephew who's a sophomore on the team that gets to play a little bit as well. And so yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. But man, he's special. But man, the Steele twins, the Sowards kid, the Lower kid who's back. You know, the Dye plays running back, and then started playing defensive line last year, and then like quickly was like the best defensive lineman we played against. You know, they got a lot of really good athletes. I'm sure it'll be an awesome atmosphere there. And like I said, it should be just an outstanding battle amongst two really hard-hitting football teams that go about offense in a different way. But again, there's been plenty of games where Rockridge won because of how well they ran it. And we've had a game or two maybe where our passing game helped us pull some wins off here recently. Yeah. So, it's going to be awesome. Like it will be a game that I think a lot of people will pay attention to. But that's what we'll tell the kids. Like we won't downplay it. You know, hey, you've created this kind of excitement. You know, it's kind of like the Princeton game last year. You guys have made this game important. You've made this a big deal. So enjoy it. Go out there and play the way that you're capable of playing, and you know you're not going to shy away from it. In this group, I don't worry about that at all. Like there's been other times where you think sometimes the lights can get too bright. You know, I think these guys, this is what they want. You know, they want those competitive situations, and they're very, very confident. And you know, they want to go out there and do things that haven't been done before. You know, and they're a big reason why we've got the program to where it is. And you know, that we talk about program because of the amount of time, but also it's the amount of time we've had this senior group. To be honest with you, and the way they've been able to lead the younger guys that just jumped in. You know, we have a sophomore starts, we have a freshman that starts. Like we have kids that are just kind of holding the standard. And it's going to be an absolute epic battle. I imagine there'll be a few cameras on the sidelines there next week. So, looking forward to that.
I'm kind of hoping my camera's one of them, but I got to figure out kind of what my son's plan is, because he'll also have a football game on Friday. So I gotta negotiate that too. But
what would it take? Or I guess what do I get on the back end if I wear the Tecmo Bowl Monmouth Roseville shirt on the sideline there? If we get all those cameras. I've worn it for 2 games already. I've ordered we ordered for a home game and an away game. So
you are the only
great
coach.
shirt. I ordered a gray one too. I got to get another one. I got to change it up.
I love it. I appreciate it, man. That's great. So, all right, Coach, I appreciate it. It's been fun to watch you guys so far. I'm excited for next week, and I'm excited to see you guys down the road. So I appreciate you taking
Coach,
time.
I'm a large, in case you're wondering. I'm a large, so
I'm
just
on
throwing
it.
it out
I'm
there.
on it. Yeah,
Just
send
throwing it
me
out
send me
there.
your sizes. We'll get this thing sent off for sure. I was supposed to bring shirts to the kickoff party and I totally forgot. So I do better through the mail. So I can.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
All
Thanks,
right.
Coach.
Thank you,
Yep,
Coach.
thank you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach.
it. Love the show.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
All right. We got we're going back to the Western Big Six. We got head coach Matt Furlong. He's here. Let's see. Oh, there he is. There he is, Coach. Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, thanks so much for taking some time here. Talk to me about kind of this week of prep and what did you see in Sterling that you knew you'd have to take care of and, to get the job done?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you bring up prep. One of the things we've really been talking to our kids about is if they want to take that next step and we want to go from being good to being really good and being a team that is winning games like this, has a chance to make the run in the playoffs and do all those things. We really needed to get better at our preparation. And that's been something we've been harping on with them. We saw some good results at, UT with it, and they started buying in and really felt like this week our kids put in the time, off the field with film and studying the game plan and doing those things. And our coaches did such a great job of getting them ready. And saw the results of it. When you're prepared, you're confident, and you play free and you play fast, and then good things happen. So I think a big part of it was just us getting to that point, and our kids buying into that and really feel like we're hitting that point now. And then with Sterling, I mean, I got so much respect for Coach Schlimmer in that program. They are solid and good at what they do year in and year out, and really felt like there's some things offensively we needed to go after them with, and then on the defensive side, it was just trusting what we saw, and understanding our keys and going after that stuff and attacking it, and couldn't be prouder of how our kids prepared and then how they played tonight.
Yeah. Coach, when you look at kind of the big picture in your schedule, did you as a coaching staff or you and the players feel like this is one of those games where, you guys in Sterling are pretty evenly matched and it becomes a really important game, determining who gets those extra wins, throughout the season? It felt like that when we were talking about it and previewing it this week. Did you guys feel that this was an important game because you guys came in with a lot of parity?
Without a doubt. We kind of felt the same way. It was one of those games that was kind of 50-50 going in. But like I said, felt as the week went, the way our kids prepared, we felt pretty confident going into it, and certainly knew when it comes to getting that extra win and getting to 5-2 and becoming playoff eligible, that's certainly important. And then whatever it's Geneseo and Sterling, there's the added piece to that and the rivalry that I've learned a lot about here these last 2 years, and what that's about. So, it was a big night for our kids and I think also for our community, with getting that win and the excitement and the energy in the stadium tonight was special.
Yeah. Coach, talk about the beginning of the game. You get a turnover on a fumble, and then you guys kind of methodically march downfield. What was your thoughts going into that opening drive? Because it really felt like you just, you were taking chunk play after chunk play, just going, first down, getting into the end zone.
Yeah, we felt, offensively we had a good game plan going into things. Felt like there were some things we are capable of doing this year that we weren't last year against Sterling. We just weren't quite there offensively. And I think tonight, those things we felt we can take advantage of. Like I said, our kids did a great job of executing that. And to Sterling's credit, they switched up some things. adjusted some things defensively from what we expected. And again, getting back to that preparation piece, a big part of that is then being able to make those in-game adjustments. And I really feel like we made that leap with UT, and then tonight our kids were confident to the point where we were able to make those quick adjustments and get things done without having to wait till halftime. But getting it done in between drives or getting some messages to our quarterback as he's going in to get those quicker adjustments done. So just that part of it has been nice seeing the development within our team.
Yeah, Coach, I'll be honest. As a videographer out there on the sidelines, I don't want to have to play defense against you guys because I was getting faked out multiple times, and I don't I don't take pride in saying that because I want to be able to follow the ball carrier and get the best shot. And man, you guys were wreaking havoc on me, so I'm sure it does on defenses as well. What do you like about your offense right now? Because you're finding kind of that late pitch, which opens up on the sideline, but you're also finding Kai Weinzero over the, McAvoy to Weinzero passing became very effective tonight with some big gainers. What do you like about this offense right now?
I really feel like these last few weeks, the diversity that we've added with being able to go two other guys, at the beginning of the year, there's a lot of Jackson McAvoy and Kai Weinzero, and those are the names people knew, and rightfully so. But I think, we've seen Mark Nelms, our fullback, Harrison Hill, our other slot, our tight ends getting involved a little bit in the passing game. And then up front with our offensive line, the development that we've gotten out of those guys, with a couple juniors and sophomores, playing there, just the jumps they've made. And any time with us, when we have the ability to have our strength with Jackson and Kai and those guys, but then be able to come back to the other side. And when you overplay that, being able to take advantage of that has really helped our offense take that next step.
Yeah. Mitch, you've been following along with Geneseo. What do you got?
Well, I'm just looking at the stats from tonight, Coach, and you just talked about how efficient your offense has been. I want to talk about your defense a little bit because this was a Sterling group that had scored over 48 in their last 3 weeks. They've scored 40 plus 4 times this year. And you made life pretty hard on Brady Berlin tonight. He was 14 to 27 for 116 yards, and you had 2 interceptions on your defensive unit. What did you like from your defense tonight?
I think early on with them was controlling the running game. Like we know with that going into it that that's what Sterling wants to do is be able to run the ball, and big part of that was start trying to neutralize that. And then once we can do that, then you can get into some more predictable pass situations, and it becomes much easier on your kids then when they can anticipate what's coming. I think get them back to that preparation piece. Our defensive backs at times this year have had some struggles. And this week really felt like they bought into what was going on, put in that preparation. Our coaches did a great job with them, and we had some guys step up tonight and play above the level that they had been to what we expected they could be, coming into the year. So I think that piece of it, with just them understanding the game plan, buying into it, being confident in it, and then understanding with Sterling what we had to do and what we had to take away, and our kids did a great job of it.
Go ahead, Dazzo.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, hey, congratulations. Well done tonight. An impressive victory. Obviously, a lot to be proud of tonight. And the way you guys have been playing lately is really impressive. A victory against UT and now tonight against Sterling and throughout the season. I know the Assumption game, which we talked beforehand, was a big one for you as well. This season in general, you've watched this team get better and better. When we talked before Assumption, it was after that Rochelle loss and you wanted to see a jump. Kind of talk about the progression you guys have made, because obviously you made that jump from 1 to 2, but you can see this Geneseo football team, one, continuing to get more comfortable with you and your program and what you want to do, but get better throughout the season. I know that's exciting for a head coach. Talk about the development of this team, and obviously playing some really good football right now in a series that you guys hadn't won in a while, to get that victory over a rival and to do it in this style. You got to be proud of your guys right now about the development they've had throughout the year.
Absolutely. We talked, after that Rochelle game was obviously not good, as far as how we had played there, and then made a nice jump there with Assumption. And you just kind of can see it every week. And, as far as being a coach, man, that's like one of the funnest things, is seeing those kids who, maybe are fringe ones come into the year, some seniors who are trying to make that step to be a varsity player, and just seeing the confidence they develop, as they start to have some success and start to realize like what it takes to get there, are willing to make those sacrifices and do those things that they need to do. And it's just so much fun when you see that light bulb start to click with them, where they start to see the payoff, and then that builds the confidence. Then they do it more, and they want it more, and they just buy in. And there's a ton of that tonight with it, of guys who started to hit what we thought they could be. And I really think, especially defensively tonight, we saw that with some guys who we knew could do what they did tonight, and showed up and did it.
Yeah. Coach, I'm sorry, Greg. Coach, do you look at this? Obviously, your second year at the program. I don't know how you look at a program coming into it and all of those kind of things. And obviously, a storied program, but a year and a half in, to be having the success that your guys are having, your team's having, to have everybody bought in. It seems like everybody's on the right page and all of that. Can you go back 2 years and coming to Geneseo, and is this what the vision was? Did you think it would click this quickly? I know it can be difficult sometimes coming to a new place and all those kind of things. I know it's a tough question, but is this something you could see as quickly as you saw it happen?
Probably last summer. No, as we're putting and installing new things and going through it and working through a lot of growing pains. It's not an easy process. But I think the biggest thing with it is we've got a group of seniors, that are committed to it, or competitors that saw the success that they could have last year and saw the way the things were trending, and really took that into the off season and ran with it. And they did a great job in the off season in the weight room, did a great job throughout the summer. And I can't say enough about, our seniors and the leadership they've provided. And what we're seeing now is, and I think this is where we're starting to take that next step, is that's starting to trickle down now into our juniors and into our sophomores and into our freshmen. Because this group has bought into it and has set a great example for the younger guys going forward.
Hey, I'm gonna bring in Brian Stocking here. I'm gonna put him right on the spot. Brian Stocking, the resident historian here. When was the last time Geneseo beat Sterling?
I've got it right here in front of me. 2014.
2014. Did you know that, Coach?
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're in Geneseo, you know that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's been now coming into the job. No, I had no idea. But that's certainly a rivalry that goes back a long ways. And it was well known that we had not beaten Sterling in a while, and had, especially recently, had some close calls and some of that went the other way. So there was a lot of certainly energy and excitement in the stadium tonight. As the game progressed, and you could see it after the game, of how happy people were, of how much it meant to a lot of people within the community, how much it meant to our players and our assistant coaches. And for me, it was fun. It was a good competitive game versus a good program. And those are the types of wins you want to get at this point in the year.
Stock, what do you got for Coach?
Coming into this game, in the last 9 meetings, Geneseo had scored 8 points or less in each of the last 9 meetings, and tonight they scored 31 points.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
I like that statement, though.
Coach Furlong approves of that message.
Coach, your Maple Leafs are 11-4 in their last 15 home games. How important is dominating home field when you guys get to the playoffs and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're playing at home, that's where you're comfortable at, and that's where you should be at your best, and I really feel like we've got into a pretty good groove, with a lot of our pregame stuff and that this year, and the excitement in the crowd continues to build each week, and the support in the program continues to build each week, and it's just kind of fun seeing that excitement starting to build and get that home environment where it can be a tough place to come in and play, and that's what you want.
Yeah. Coach, talk a little bit about, I really, you kind of referenced it there, but man, I love going to Geneseo on a Friday night because it's bigger than some other atmospheres. I don't know. What have you seen? What have you learned about it? What do you appreciate about it now being there for, a couple years?
Yeah, I heard, kind of coming into it, what it would be like. Talking to some, just people in the area and in the community, some of the other coaches in the conference and that. And last year I would say you kind of saw some glimpses of it. I would say these last, this year especially with how well we've played at home in some games, and the way that's gone, like you can just tell, like when football's going well here, like the community's proud, and they're huge supporters of things. The starting all the way down from our youth program and what goes on down there, up to through our freshmen and then getting into the varsity. Like we had Thursday night, our 8th graders played on the game field, and then we had the youth football game after that, and the place was packed. We had so many people in the stands, so many people out there supporting them. Between a youth game on a Thursday night that was running late and all that different stuff, and they just love football, and love especially winning football, like everybody does. So the more of that you do, the more it grows, and the more the excitement is there, and yeah, it's a special place.
Yeah, I got a chance to listen to Denny Derrick's. I'm getting my Derricks confused. I got a chance to listen to Denny Derrick's on the call on my way home. I had to get back here to get everything set up at halftime. But man, he is an amazing listen on your broadcast. And what a gem you have there as someone with so much football knowledge, so much passion of Geneseo. Like it is a great listen. I don't know if you get a chance to go back and listen to him, but is it Mitchell that's along with him?
Yep, Pat Mitchell.
Yep, Pat Mitchell along with him. They are a fun listen on a Friday night, and you really get the knowledge and the passion, which is just perfect for Geneseo football. Tell me about those guys and kind of what your interactions with them.
Yeah, so obviously Coach Derrick's has the ties with Geneseo going back, and how good he was here. And Pat's another guy who's been a very successful coach, at a lot of levels between the high school. He's helping out with our 8th graders this year. So those guys always have a unique perspective of things and understanding the history of Geneseo football. And then, just speaking of preparation, like Coach Derrick's puts in as much prep as coaches do, going into games, and, kind of his knowledge of the Western Big Six and breaking down film. He still does it like he's going to be out there coaching on Friday nights. And I think that contributes to what's a really good product on there, and I've I've listened a few times and always, hear and get some feedback and that stuff. And you can obviously just tell the passion those two have, for Geneseo football and the community, and just another thing that kind of makes this place special.
Yeah. Mitch, what do you got for Coach?
Coach, looking ahead at next week, we know that Alleman's going through a bit of a tough time. They had to forfeit their win this week. Do you know anything about that game, or how do you prep for the unknown, the way that maybe Moline didn't really have a chance to this week?
Yeah, I mean, our approach right now is as of now we're playing the game, so that's going to be our focus this weekend. Is getting ready for Allman. And then you just got to kind of take it from there. It's one of those things that is a difficult position. Between kind of understanding Allman's situation and where they're at, and having some understanding of what they're going through. Then at the same time on your end it's what I tell we talk to the kids about all the time. It's an uncontrollable thing. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't control it. So we control what we can. And right now that's getting ready to play Allman next week. And if that ends up changing, then we'll make the adjustment there. But that's kind of the focus with us where we are right now. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Looking kind of down the road, big picture, now that you're sitting at the 5-win mark, when does playoff prep start? Do you have coaches that kind of look at, the projections that Steve Susie puts out, or when do you kind of start looking ahead a little bit? I know you're not supposed to, but when does that start?
So it was the same when I was at Cary Grove. There's always some coaches on the staff that get really into that, and seeing the projections and trying to figure out, what class you're going to be in, who you might play, and project those things out. And for me, that's, for whatever reason, really nothing I've ever been too into or too focused on. Just because there's so many things that can change and all that stuff with it. So I think for right now, with us is just continuing to build each week and continuing to get better. And realizing, like, once we hit the playoffs, it's such a crapshoot as far as who you're going to get, and how things are going to unfold, what the brackets are going to look like. You can get a 5-4 IC Catholic, and teams like that, and so it's just one of those things where for me it's never been something I've looked that much into, just because there's so many things that can change, and again, it's one of those that don't have a whole lot of control over, so try and focus on what I do.
Yeah. Coach, speaking of Cary Grove, someday we're gonna, maybe an off-season podcast, I want to do a whole podcast where I just talk to you about your game plan and your approach to defense against East St. Louis and how it all played out. I cannot wait to talk about that someday.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
The short version would be score a lot on offense.
But but you guys had to do a lot. I mean, yeah, I love it. Anyway, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. That game was incredible. And anyway, we'll talk about it someday. But
all right, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle Kampmeyer, I'll bring you in. You got anything for Matt Furlong here?
Coach, it's great to see Geneseo in the win column making some noise. Obviously, a proud tradition and a great program there. Keep up the great work. That was a big win tonight, and it's always great to see Geneseo doing good things.
Yep. Hey, Dazzo, you got anything else?
No, I'm gonna let this. I want to let this guy go back inside. I feel like every time we have him on the show, his wife kicked him out of the house again. So he's probably like, if you're gonna hang out with those guys, I don't want you in the house. Like, they're bad influences. Yep. Get out of the house. So, Coach, get back inside and enjoy a victory, my friend. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to give a shout out, Dalkin. I was on the sidelines with Dalkin tonight. It's been a few years since I've been on the sidelines in Geneseo, and seeing Dalkin was great. And I know I look forward to seeing his highlights every week. So anyway, it was a really fun night out in Geneseo tonight. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, there we go. Hey, we got a big praise. Look at this, Don O'Brien giving the whole show a big shout out here. Excellent work by all. So way to go, boys. Excellent work here. We have Brian Stocking in the mix, Kyle Kampmeyer, Mitch Stormer, and Matt Randazzo. I don't think Ty Taylor's gonna get on the show tonight. I think he was preoccupied, but we got plenty to talk about. Stock, what's the headlines for you tonight? What do you got?
Geneseo upset, beating Sterling.
Good Lord, Stocking.
Stockpile, what's going on? Can we let's we're burying the lead. What's going on?
What's up with
The
your
body
voice?
is a temple. It's just the doorbell's not working properly at the moment. All right. Points, and more points were scored tonight. You had Monroe scoring 57. You had 61 by Rock Ridge, which is probably why Ty Taylor's not here, because he's still adding up all the stats. I mean, a lot of points were scored tonight, and that's the biggest thing I saw was offenses just be very explosive tonight.
Hey, Stockpile, what are we doing about the voice? Are you like honey and tea, or like how are we addressing this?
I had beef broth Wednesday and Thursday.
It didn't do anything, did it?
It worked a little bit, but then I had to yell today, so
Is your phone ringing?
Yeah, I don't know who it is though, so I'll just put up.
Put him on the air.
Random phone calls at midnight. Who's calling you at midnight that you don't know?
That's a good question.
Maybe it's the president. I don't know. All I know is that there were a lot of points scored tonight, and I think that when you look at all the points scored tonight, that's a big thing. Quincy had a big total, 44 points. So points and explosive offenses.
Yep, there we go.
And Mitch, I didn't know you were still on the show. I haven't seen you the last 2 weeks.
Stock, you can't get excited like that. Stock, you cannot get excited like that. You just your voice cracked.
Stock.
All right, Stock. I don't want to test your voice, but I do kind of want to test your voice. So let's go to the LLC small side of things. Let's put up the board. There, it's on the screen. You can read it.
Anawan Wethersfield gets a late fourth quarter field goal. They beat Princeville 17-14. A-Town beats Savannah 31-26. It is Rushville Industry over Starr County 54-19. Farmington beats Roma Williamsfield 63-12. And United breaks a 16-game losing streak as they beat South Fulton 54-18.
So there you go. When was the last win for United? Do you have it?
Well, they broke a 16-game losing streak, so it would have been 2023. I would.
Okay,
so
I didn't. Was asking if you knew the game offhand, but that's okay. That's okay. I will say, great effort by Princeville here. I expected a bigger score differential here.
Well, Princeville led at halftime.
Yeah, yeah.
14-7.
I was really impressed with Anawan.
Anawan Wethersfield was without Maddox Heitzler. He went out early in this game.
Oh, okay. That's something to follow for sure. But I really was impressed with Anawan Wethersfield last week, and to see that score differential, great effort by Princeville. Man, you hope Heitzler's okay long term for their play out, for their future down the way. Nice win for A-Town. Mitch, that's a team we talked about this week, and kind of a game we talked about this week where A-Town didn't have the impressive record, but man, they played a bunch of close games, and they get the win here.
Yeah, they had a lot of guys coming back. I remember when we talked about them in the preview. They had one of the highest number of returning starters that we cover. So it's games like this that you see that come through. So yeah, a terrific win for the Tornadoes there. Yeah, I know, Kyle. I know you had your eyes on Anawan Wethersfield and Princeville. I think my outlook on Anawan Wethersfield doesn't change in a close win. Now that Princeville shows a little bit of a fight, they could be a sneaky good team there in 1A North.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be interesting to see what transpires with the Princes. Right now I have them. I think I had them projected to finish second to A-Dub in that LLC small, which would put them at an 8-1 record. So I am a little surprised by the score differential as well. I thought AW would win by a little bit more, but great second half by AW and great overall effort by Coach Carruthers and the Princes as well. So it's definitely going to be exciting as we move forward here.
Can I ask Kyle a question? Kyle, if A&W loses Max Hessler, will they fall in the rankings by the state in seed wise, like in the NCAA tournament, if there's a guy out?
No. There's no player level that does anything with the seedings. It's straight wins and opponents' wins.
Florida State, Stock. Also, as Kyle, Princeton has 2 losses now. They lost to Rushville Industry back there in week 3.
Oh, that's right.
But they should finish 7-2.
You're right.
Okay, let's get into the Lincoln Land large division. Roll up the graphic here. We already talked about it. Farmington gets the win 63-12 over Roval Williamsfield. You had Illini West winning 28-20 over Bureau Valley. Macomb 42-19 over Knoxville. West Hancock 62-6 over LVC. And Ottawa Marquette, Mitch, we have an Ottawa Marquette helmet in there somewhere. We couldn't get it in our...
I don't know that we have a helmet. We have the logo. I don't know that we have the helmet, but...
I know I created the helmet a long time ago, but anyway,
oddly enough, you say you have all these unread texts all night, but you kept sending me the Ottawa Marquette score all night, so we know where your intentions are here.
So Marquette gets the win over Elmwood Brimfield, 51-6. Mitch, I want to start with the Farmers.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Carson Noy, freshman quarterback for Farmington. Yep. What have we stumbled upon here? Because it is impressive.
Yeah, so I texted Coach Vallis tonight. 7 touchdowns, over 300 yards passing. Jack Gronwald had 3 receiving touchdowns. Boston Smith, Jackson Ray, Trevor Fry, Landon Crawford all had 1 each. Actually, he said well over 300 yards. So I don't have that exact number, but as a freshman to come in and to replace Lane Wheelwright in this offense, I truly think Farmington is being underrated in 2A. I think they can compete with the best of them. And again, Noy is a freshman and putting up the numbers. And look, the Cougars are having a tough year. I totally get that. And maybe there were some second half pat setting in this one. I don't really know for sure, but as a freshman to come in and take control of this team that has such high expectations in 2A, it's been really impressive for Farmington this year.
I mean, the way I look at things is Farmington continues to impress me. And yes, even in tonight, like, Roval Williamsfield does not have the resume going into this game that's, but it is what it is. He's putting up huge numbers. Like, this is a freshman quarterback that seems very comfortable, and obviously it helps having Jack Gronwald as a wide receiver, an all-state type wide receiver, an all-state wide receiver there to help you out. But overall, I'm really impressed with what Coach Vallis has built here. And this year seemed like one of those measuring sticks, right? Where you had a very talented group that made a semifinal run and heartbreaking finish to not make it to a state title game. And here they are again, where they seem like they have not missed a beat at all. Kyle, I'll bring you in and ask you about, what do you see in terms of this Farmington squad getting into the 2A bracket? And for me, it seems like it's Farmington, Rock Ridge from our area. You have Eastland Pearl City that I think is going to be in the mix as well. But what do you see in that 2A bracket as projections kind of play out?
Well, I mean, right now Wilmington's on the bubble, and if they move into 3A out of 2A, that definitely takes the heavy favorite, everybody's heavy favorite is Wilmington if they fall into the 2A bracket. And if you take them out, it definitely opens it up even more. And, yeah, I like Farmington. I kind of disagree with Mitch. I don't think Farmington's really being underrated. I mean, really, if you look at any rating system, they're in the top 4. Now, state rankings might have it the other way, and I don't necessarily like where the AP has them, but I don't like much about what the AP is doing anyway. There's only one voter. There's only one voter for the AP that I see doing stuff right. Wonder who that is. But regardless, yeah, I think Farmington, Rock Ridge, El Paso, Gridley, and even Westville, if they get put into that north bracket, will all be contenders for something big down the road. EPC has physicality. They did a good job tonight in the first quarter against Stockton. But there's something just not there. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. Right now, I'm not getting good vibes from EPC. Like, they're definitely dangerous, right? They play a physical style game, but there's holes that they have that they need to correct, because a team like Rockridge, for instance, if they're to go up against Cullen-Schweigen again, I think Cullen-Schweigen blows them away. So they gotta fix some things there in order to really be back in that mix. But yeah, Wilmington, Rockridge, Moreau Forsyth, Farmington, throw them in a hat. They're all within a touchdown of each other, I think. Wilmington maybe 2 touchdowns, but the other ones, they're all right there together. This 2A is, I said it back in the preseason previews, that the 2A bracket was going to be so much fun because there were so many different scenarios that could play out with it. And I still feel that way.
Yeah. Well, so sticking with this 2A bracket, did Moreau Forsyth lose tonight?
Yes, they did.
So that's huge.
Gotta go the Trojans.
So that's huge. They were the number 1 team. Were they the number 1 team in our NUIC football rankings?
No. They were the number 3 team in our NUIC football rankings.
Okay. I'll be honest. They were my number 1 seed. I just so
actually you had Wilmington, Greg.
in 2A?
Yeah.
Okay. I had Moreau.
You had Moreau as second.
There we go.
And
Okay.
AP has Moreau 1.
Yeah. Well, because the AP has it screwed up, and they have Wilmington in 3A, I believe.
Yeah, with all the enrollment adjustments, they never moved Wilmington into the 2A poll.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, okay, I guess, yes, you're right. Thank you for correcting me on my own pick that I didn't remember, but
well, Moreau is so easy, right? Because they're always there.
But I know what happened last year in the state title game, but I just felt like they were banged up, they were injured in that game, and it did nothing worked that day for them.
It wasn't passing weather.
It was, yeah, you're right. It was not passing weather, and they had to fight to get there, and they got there, and things didn't work that day in the state title game, but they returned a lot. And so I was really watching them this year to be like, okay, I think this is the team that's going to make that run. I think and they still could be, but who'd they lose to tonight?
They lost to Olympia.
Okay.
And Olympia was projected to get in the playoffs, but I think they were supposed to be 5-4, maybe 6-3. Now they're going to gain another win there that was not projected. So they're going to boost their seeding. Moreau Forsyth is going to drop in seeding.
Yeah.
But back to the injury thing, I've already heard that Moreau is down at least 3 guys tonight.
Okay, so maybe it's happening again, unfortunately. Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think it all lends to this 2A, especially if Wilmington's not in the mix. it really opens wide up. And then,
And what if Newman is?
well, and if Newman's in there, then that becomes interesting as well.
I like all the different probabilities that could be 2A. Me personally, I want to see Newman in 1A. I do.
Yep.
Because I think it adds more intrigue to the 1A bracket.
Yep.
But if they go into 2A, yeah, they're going to be right there in the mix as well. So, I mean,
Did you say
Newman's right there on that bubble, right?
Did you say that there's something with Forreston that could determine if Newman
Forreston
goes?
has to beat Leroy next week in order to get in.
And they won tonight. Leroy did.
Correct. And if Leroy knocks off Forreston's out.
Right.
Unless they somehow get an upset in week 9. But if Forreston wins with Leroy winning tonight, Leroy still has an opportunity if they can knock off Tuscola next week. Now that's a tall task, but it's possible because I'm getting weird vibes from the Heart of Central Illinois Conference. There's just so many things that I see playing out in the Heart of Central Illinois. I can't get a good grasp on it. You know, you're seeing teams like El Paso Gridley was just stomping through everybody, and then all of a sudden, you know, they beat Tri-Valley by 3, which Tri-Valley was up here, but then Tri-Valley lost to Tuscola, and then Tuscola lost to Casey Westfield, and Casey Westfield had to fight for their life tonight against a team that isn't even going to make the playoffs. And I don't know, it's just so hard. It's hard to get a good judge on it. It's fun. It's fun because of that parity.
So Zach Shimdog has an interesting question here, and I think it's worth discussing. Where does Newman fare better in 1A or in 2A in the playoffs? Now, obviously, Newman's already played Rock Ridge and lost. They lost by 20. Rock Ridge pretty much controlled that game. But you start looking around, and
Who's Newman got next week?
Newman would be in the top 8 of 2A if they were in 2A right now, rating wise.
Yeah.
So yes, they would fare very well in 2A. As far as comparing it with 1A, it's really about the same.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of difference between 1A and 2A this year at all.
Yep. I think it just
So Newman gets Kiwani next week, so that'll move him to 7-1, and then big game in week 9 against Monmouth Roseville.
Yeah, that game against Monmouth Roseville becomes really significant. So
Newman just adds another depth to that 2A North bracket if they do go into 2A.
Yeah, I think
which then grotesquely weakens the 1A North bracket.
Sure. Yep. All right, Mitch, should we read through some big Northern scores here? We have not.
Dazzo do it, but he can't see our screen, so that makes it more fun.
Dazzo, can you see anything?
I'm looking at my phone. Pop it up, and it's like a little bit of delay. So
it's up.
I would love to make them up if I knew who was in the Big Northern. No, I'm kidding. I know who's in the Big Northern. Wait for it. Once it pops on my phone, because there it is. You got Byron over Genoa Kingston, 55-7. Your final on that one. Dixon continues their impressive season. They roll at Winnebago, 50-15. It was Stillman Valley over Oregon, 21-15. IVC shuts out Rock Falls. And it is North Boone all over Rockford Lutheran, 55-0. Your final score. So 3 teams in the conference all score 50 or more points. Going back to Marge's sister from The Simpsons, I think it was Stocking or whatever. His point, lots of points tonight around the area, especially in the Big North. How'd I do?
Great.
IVC Rock Falls was scoreless at halftime.
There you go. There's a nugget of gold for you there.
So IVC scored 28 unanswered points in the second half.
Correct.
Right.
I'm glad you got math. I learned some math this week.
I did, Stock. I'm concerned about you, but I did.
pretty sure Caden Constantine had 300 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half of that game.
Wow.
And then I think, I can't find it now. Weather on the go, if you're listening, need your help here. I think Carnegie had 5 touchdowns tonight, and he was over 200 yards. So the biggest thing there is that Winnebago scored twice on Dixon. Dixon wasn't letting anybody score, and Winnebago did it twice.
I was going to say, so yeah, somebody scored on Dixon tonight. It was kind of inconsequential, but they did score. So
yeah, streaks over.
Shout out Mitch to Tanner Wilhelm. Man, he is all over the Big Northern Conference. He's sending texts, keeping us updated. I absolutely love it. So Dazzo, is this your farewell to the Instant Reacts tonight? You read the boards. Are you done?
I think I need to be, because I haven't written all my scripts yet for tomorrow's Hawkeye Tailgate show, so I still have work to do. So
the game, the pregame show doesn't start till like 4:00. You're good.
Greg, how many kids do you have? Do you think I have all day tomorrow? I have a big 3rd grade flag football game at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So but I will say this and Mitch, I know you're probably jealous, but like, it was Greg and I's day of fun. Like, we met this morning, we got a Polar Pop, we went out to Riverdale, did the show out there, got lunch, got another Polar Pop. And then we finished the day off with the View from the West. So yeah, it was a good Friday. But boys, I'll continue to keep listening as I continue to write some scripts. But week 8 is going to be awesome. Like, Moline UT, I still think is a really good football game. Like, a really good football game at the Soul Bowl, great atmosphere. Obviously, what we have with the track and Monmouth, Roseville, and Rock Ridge. I don't want to compare it to week 2. Everybody loves week 2. But I think it should be a fun week of high school football. So I can't wait to do it again with you guys. Next weekend, Stockpile, I'm going to make you a bowl of chicken noodle soup, and I'm going to deliver it to Port Byron tomorrow.
I have plenty of chicken noodle soup. I've lipped it. But I do want to say, Mother Stockpile would be very upset with me if I don't mention this. She was beyond the moon and the stars on Wednesday when you interviewed Nestler. And Nestler said that she tied for second in the Nest Guest. Mother Stockpile finished second in the Nest Guest. If you guys haven't done Nest Guest, go to my social media. You do picks. It's free. You win hobo. But I'd love to say Brian Stocking's name, but like, Mother Stockpile is dominating your family when it comes to knowledge of football. And I love that, Stock. I love it. She did a great job. She taught me everything I knew when I was a little boy.
Do not blame her for your nonsense. Do not throw that young lady under the bus. She is a saint.
She does
yes,
not.
She is.
She does not have biases. You have biases.
She loves her Irish. She loves
but
Notre Dame.
I think she's more logical in high school picks than you are.
She would pick Notre Dame if they were like 0-8.
Well, okay.
It's relatable.
She picked Notre Dame over Iowa State even.
But yeah, they blew them out.
Yeah, that was not a fun afternoon for Stockpile.
All right. Hey, Dazzle.
Hey, real fast, Stock, did you go on TV with The Voice today? I've had to do that. It's not fun. Did you battle through?
I powered through. I don't take days off. I taught today.
I love it. I love it.
I'm sure wasn't obnoxious for the kiddos at all.
Did you teach a young Armstrong?
No, I was at North today.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
Hey, earlier today on the show, we asked the Riverdale players if they knew who Brian Stocking was, and they all lit up and said absolutely. So you are a legend in your hometown and all over the Quad Cities. And with that, being nice to Stockpile, I'll let you boys go for the evening. Thank you for letting me be part of the fun. I'll see you guys next week.
Hey, thanks for letting me letting me hang out in Port Bryan earlier today.
Huge ratings for that show. I'm not even kidding. Like, some of the biggest numbers we've ever had. Greg Armstrong ratings. I'm sure people weren't listening to find out what we thought of Alleman football at all. I mean, it was all Greg Armstrong. So appreciate you boys. Mitch, I'm still a Mitch guy. See you guys.
Oh, look at that. There you go. Hey, Stock, I looked around all over the greater Port Bryan area, I looked for your trophy. I looked for your statue. When are they building these things?
When they run out of things to build statues for.
I mean, we have connections with Guy Derricks. We need to just, get in the works here and let's see. There's a lot of space right out front by the football field. Do you think we could? You know what we should do is, because you were staff guy. So do we need to put like something on top of the press box, like a Brian Stocking? Did they make you sit on the roof before to keep stats?
That was when we went to Malleus Tapico.
There you go.
I'm not yet in the Riverdale Hall of Fame, which is stunning.
Oh, there we go. Start the campaign. Brian Stocking in the Riverdale Hall of Fame. I'm in, man. I'm fighting for that.
Greg, throw up that NUIC.
Huh?
All right, we doing the NUIC boards? All right, here we go.
All right, we'll run through them quick, and we'll throw to Kyle. Stockton defeated EPC 46-8. You had Dupac with the 34-20 win over Forreston. Fulton in a track meet against Southwestern Hazel Green 56-40. You had Morrison getting their first win of the year 48-16 over Dakota. And Lee win with the shutout over Galena 46-0.
So there you go, Kyle. Jump on in. What stands out to you here?
Well, what stands out, obviously, is Lena Winslow putting up 46 points on Galena. Not too surprised by that, sort of, but, last year that was a 22-10 game, so I hoped, I guess, that Galena would have done something similar, but clearly did not. Forreston really was impressive tonight despite the loss. Being able to do things through the air and on the ground tonight, so they were able to mix some things up. I know that Mitch loves the fact that Forreston throws like 3 times all season long, but it's one of the things that we it's one of the things that we brought up on our show this past week was that if Forreston was going to have success against Dupac, they were going to have to be able to throw the ball, and Brady Gill was able to do that, and it just speaks well for how Forreston is starting to play and rise up, because let's be honest, Dupac was favored in this game by more than 14 points. So things are looking in the right direction for the Cards, of course, but they do have to get that win next week on the road at a fun place in Leroy. Great job for Morrison. I had somebody reach out and text me tonight, how was Morrison 0-6 with all the speed that they have? That just speaks to the schedule that Morrison has had to play through the first 6 weeks of the season, because they had everybody that was on top of the conference that they had to go through, which, that's pretty much every team that we're expecting to make the playoffs.
So Kyle, I'll stop you real quick, because I talked to my dad this week, and Marquette plays Morrison in week 9, and he is very familiar with the NUIC, obviously, with our coverage over the last 5-6 years, whatever it's been. But he said, man, you look at Morrison, and they haven't won a game this year, but look at who they're playing every week. Their resume is unbelievable. And people get it. And it's just, you look through, Dupac, Stockton, Lena Winslow. It's all, Galena, EPC, like all the names, right? So it was funny to hear him call out, normally, an 0-5, 0-6 team is what it is, but not this Forreston or Morrison team, not in this conference. And so it's funny you bring that up, because he definitely noticed it, and I know Marquette fans have noticed it too.
Well, I mean,
Shoe Bowl next week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And I'll throw this out here. I mean, I love you and Mitch both, but I would have to go with Mitch on this one. The problem is I have your crew as the projected winner of that Week 9 matchup. So
there'll probably be a bet on the line for that. Mitch and I haven't really talked about it yet, but
Well, now that Morrison's in the NUIC, I have to cheer
Sure.
for the Mustangs. It's just the way it goes for me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do have the Crew projected to win, and unfortunately, this could be the only game I see Morrison winning.
Yeah.
Which is hard because, like you said, I mean, we've talked about it all season long about how much they fight, and they've put up good stuff. I reached out to Coach Vandermeid earlier this week, and it's hard when you're 0-6, but at the same time, it's at least refreshing to know that your team is putting up a fight week in and week out despite the adversity that you face, and that's exactly what I told Coach Vandermeid.
Yep. So I guess, so let's see. Lena Winslow next week is EPC, and then they have Dupec in week 9. So 2 really fun matchups there. Again, it seems like some, matchups between teams that are very good. It's hard to figure out how this all settles.
I'm looking ahead to week 9 a little bit, Kyle. You look at a Galena squad that started 3-0. They had that great win against EPC in week 3. Now they've lost 4 straight. They should get their 4th win against Dakota in week 8. And then they've got a Fulton team that could be coming in winning 3 in a row into that week 9 game with a chance for the playoff, or a spot in the playoffs for Galena on the line there in week 9.
And it's Galena going on the road to Fulton, right?
Correct.
So it's a road game.
Correct.
So that's one of the things that I was looking at when the season began is Galena, in my opinion, was going to be 5-4. The game that they were going to win to be 5-4 was the one against Forston that they lost. They swapped that with the one against EPC, which I've talked about, which was huge for the whole conference, with the opportunity to get the 6 teams into the playoffs. Likewise, I initially had Galena sitting at 3-4 going into week 8. So I'm not surprised where they're at. It's, yes, that week 9 game against Fulton is going to be critical for the Pirates. And Fulton is, while they're not having the season that they were hoping for, this is a game that I know Coach Lohr felt that he had a good potential opportunity to win. And it's definitely a game Galena cannot go into overlooking the Steamers, thinking that they have a 1-5 Fulton team that they're going to be going up at, well, a 1-7 team, maybe, well, probably 2-5 actually. I'm sorry, or 2-6. But either way, it's just they can't look at it that way because it's going to be tough. Fulton's going to give them a challenge. They have the athletes to do it, and now that they're starting to get healthier too, you're starting to see them play a little bit differently. And putting up 56 points tonight, I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised that they gave up 40 than I am that they scored 56, because I just felt like they were a much better team than what Southwestern East Dubuque is.
Yeah. So, all right, what else? Anything else about the NUIC, or do we go back through some scores
8-man
here?
scores, Kyle?
Yeah, 8-man scores.
I have, yeah, I do. Let me pull that up here real fast.
Also, while he's doing that, Detroit and Seattle are in the bottom of the 15th in Game 5.
Oh, wow.
I heard there was a good game going on. Apparently, that's the one.
But the Mariners have bases loaded with 1 out, so it could end here in a minute.
Bottom of the 15th.
15th in a Game 5.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
All right, so here's some 8-man scores for your coverage area. Galva beats Peoria Heights 38-12. West Prairie gets their first win of the year over BPC 46-8. Amboy beats Ridgewood 62-12. West Central gets the upset win over Flanagan Cornell Woodland 40-32. West Carroll beats AFC 70-8. Milledgeville beats Orangeville 56-16. Polo beats River Ridge 50-8. That's Coach Ted Alston's 100th career win. So congratulations to Coach Alston on that milestone there.
Yeah. So by what you were reading through, no real surprises tonight?
No, I mean, FCW was the favorite, so that's going to definitely boost West Central's seed positioning. So we're definitely gonna see some changes in our projections for the 8-man seedings with regards to that.
So West Central, to cut you off. West Central has won what, 6 games in a row now? They lost
week 1.
Yep, and they've won everything since.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah.
So they're getting rolling at the right time. Now they're gonna have a tough one next week, which will be for that conference title with Amboy.
Yep.
But the other one that really surprised me is West Prairie's win over Bushnell Prairie City.
Yeah. Yep.
That I had West Prairie going 0-9.
Yeah, well, yeah. How about Galva sitting at 3-4 right now? They have Ridgewood next week, and then they have West Prairie, like you just talked about, getting that win. But I think that they could get a win in week 9. They may end up 4-5 on the season, and I know that will be short of the playoffs more than likely. But for this Galva program, it had been irrelevant. It had not really been a factor at all the last few years since they've been 8-man football. And I mean, credit to Coach Anderson and what they're doing there. They're in games. They're playing competitive football and they're winning some games.
Yeah, absolutely. Galva has definitely been moving in the right direction. We are going to see a 4-5 team in the playoffs because Martinsville did lose tonight to Metro East Lutheran. So we're going to see a 4-5 team, but yes, Galva will not have enough playoff points to be in that conversation. Right now it's going to be between Unity Christian, Martinsville, and potentially Orangeville for that last spot in that 16 seed.
We have a quick update. Mariners just walked it off, so they are advancing in the playoffs. So there you go. Man, I got to go back and watch that.
That means we get more big dumper highlights. I'm all for it.
Mariners and Jays. How about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when's the last time we saw Toronto in the ALCS?
Ooh, Stock.
1993 when they won the World Series.
There you go.
Over Philadelphia.
They were in the ALCS against who, Stocking, in 1993? I already know it.
The Chicago White Sox.
The Chicago White Sox.
And it was during that series where Michael Jordan said he was quitting the Bulls to play for the White Sox.
Wow.
That was before, I believe, Game 2. That was in Chicago.
Wow. I do not. Yeah, I didn't remember that timeline, but I'm telling you, that was. You want to talk about me and White Sox fandom. That 1993-94, which ended up being the strike year. Man, that collection of White Sox. The White Sox had Bo Jackson. And, man, I tell you what, I was there the night the White Sox clinched the Western Division in 1993. I saw Bo Jackson hit a home run off the Seattle Mariners. And I think the game ended up being like a 1-0, 3-1 final. It was very low scoring. As a kid, like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, Bo Jackson hitting a home run. I'm going way off the charts here, but that was a fun childhood memory to relive.
You guys also had Blackjack McDowell, too.
We did, absolutely.
Competing for the Cy Young back then.
Yes, absolutely. And in 94, if the strike doesn't happen, I want to see the Montreal Expos and the White Sox in a World Series. That's the World Series that never happened.
It would have been the Expos and the Yankees.
Stock, you're wrong, but that's fine.
Don Mattingly in the World Series. That's what everyone wants to see.
Hey, who was the big home run hitter for the Expos during that strike year?
Was it Larry Walker?
No.
Marquise
Galarraga?
Grissom?
Oh, Henry.
Oh,
Henry Rodriguez?
Yes, Henry Rodriguez was leading them in the home runs.
in 90, no,
No.
not in 94, right?
I thought so, because then he went to the Cubs shortly thereafter.
Yeah, he stunk.
He did. He was terrible at the Cubs. I was so excited that we were getting him, because I was like, adding Pop with Sosa would have been awesome, but yeah, he never lived up
I thought he
to
was
it.
later than 94, but Stock, you'll look it up. You'll figure it out.
We also got a horrible reliever from Montreal, Mel Rojas. That guy could save could save anything. To quote Mother Stockpile, he could not pitch himself out of a wet paper sack.
And Shimdog, I am a catcher by natural ability, and so yes, Big Dumper is definitely one of my favorites.
I love it. I love it. Kyle, I love your shirt. I don't care so much for your hat, but we'll just, we'll leave it at that.
I know, you're a Sox fan. It's all right.
Yeah.
Go Cubs, go!
Oh,
Go
here
Cubs,
we
go.
What happens tomorrow, boys?
Wrigley North, baby. That's what
Oh,
happens.
Yeah. Hey.
Brewers in a blowout.
There we
Wow,
go.
look at that. Look at that update.
7-1.
Susie talking about 3A North having no 5 and 4 teams in it.
Really?
Whoa.
So just the
Yikes.
way it shakes out, that there would be so many 6 and 3 or above that there would just be no, like, just the way the brackets shake out, there's no room for a 5 and 4 in 2A or 3A.
Right.
Wow.
And then if you take a look at the South bracket, you're going to have 6 and 3 teams hosting first round playoff games because of the amount of differential there.
Man, I feel like the Kyle, I can't wait to see your projections. Whenever you get them drawn up, let me know, because we love to talk about them. And it's going to get real interesting, it seems like, here.
Oh, I got to be ahead of my game plan because I got a business trip coming to Ohio in a couple weeks here. And I got to be ahead of it. So I'll probably be working on it tomorrow or Sunday for sure.
Yeah. You're talking about going to Ohio. You and Mitch going to, like, meet up on the road here, or what's going to happen?
I'll be in the northwest corner pretty much on that Ohio-Michigan border.
So not gonna
Opposite end.
Yeah.
The complete opposite end.
I'm a good 2 hours away from Mitch.
All right. Well,
And
hey,
no car, by the way, because we're flying there.
look, I know, man, fancy stuff. I know. So, Kyle, you already booked your trip to Normal for the state championship games. I'm about to book our trip this week. We're getting the hotel. We're getting the band back together in Normal on the Friday of the state championships.
Hey, and hitter Matt Surdick, he's got his room booked as well, and he's got media credentials already. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot more people hanging out Friday night for our hotel randomness and extra podcast events.
I love it. I believe View from the West will also be adding into the randomness. I think for the first time, my son is going to make the trip. So Casey, freshman in high school, he's in it, man. He's all in. So we were able to go tonight. His game was last night on Thursday. So he was able to go with me tonight, and he is dialed in. He can't wait. So I think it may be a full-blown trip. He's got his own media credential this year. I made sure to get him his own. So he's very excited. So
Let's hope it's not 4 degrees again this year.
what?
That adds to it because Mitch's, not Mitch, but Matt's daughter, Maddie, is looking to get into journalism broadcasting.
Yeah.
And she's a senior this year at Clifton Central. So she's got a media credential to come too.
Awesome. Love
Nice.
it. Love it. Let's get the next generation there learning how it all works. And, they can learn from Mitch on how to stay warm on the sideline.
Yeah,
I'm
having
just
that
gonna
balance
sit in the
between
press
going
box.
inside. Yeah. I was down on the sideline for most of that 1A game. The 2A game, I was nowhere near it. But
You bailed on that one. So I'm hoping we have a team in 2A. I'm hoping we have 1A, 2A, 3A.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
I would love it. I would love it. I think there are teams that are serious candidates, and it would be amazing if the stars aligned.
Well, I was talking to more people tonight. They definitely want to see a couple teams on opposite sides of the brackets. That way we get great semifinal matches leading into that state championship game.
Yeah, take it back to 2005.
Dixon's in 4, right?
What's that, Mitch?
Dixon's in 4, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Just make it a whole Friday.
Oh, there you go. Stock, what do you got? Give us the stats of the night. We haven't really asked you directly. What numbers do you got here?
Let's see here now. United snaps a 16-game losing streak. Let's see. Milledgeville is off to their best start since joining 8-player. They were last 7-0 in 2018 when they were still playing 11. Amboy is 11-1 in their last 12 home games. They've scored this year alone. They've scored 56 or more 5 times. Let's see. And Princeton is 28-2 in their last 30 home games.
Okay.
And Sherrard also snaps a 10-game losing streak.
You said Princeton?
Princeton, yeah.
What was that stat again?
28-2 in their last 30 home games in the regular season.
Wow. Yep. So
yeah.
Stock, you mentioned Amboy in there. Kyle, you talked about it a little bit on your show this past week. Based on that first week loss to Milledgeville, like, I hate to say this because they're a two-time defending state champion, but did Amboy kind of get lost in the shuffle here because they lost in week 1?
Well, it's not so much that they got lost in the shuffle, but yes, they're doing what they were expected to be doing all this time. It's just been so quiet, right? I mean, they don't have the big yards that they had from Landon Welcho. They don't have the big yards that they had from Eddie Jones, but they're winning by big scores, and it's almost like a blue collar, pick up your lunchbox, let's go to work type mentality for the Clippers, and it's awesome to see because they're clearly dominating everybody outside of that game with Milledgeville. The problem is that West Division have basically lost almost every crossover game that they've had, so the playoff points for Amboy are very low, which is why they have such a low seeding. Obviously, there's a couple games that can change that, but the highest we're going to see Amboy is 5, and I speculate the lowest we're going to see them is 6. Yeah. And that would mean that one of those top 5 teams is going to have to lose another game in order for Amboy to go up to the 5 seed. But yeah, they just don't have the playoff points. But you know, it's one of those things like Jay said on the show. You're not going to want to cross paths with Amboy because they're going to lay it to you.
Yep. Hey, well, we're talking about 8-man here. I've been pretty high on Pawnee. They have a huge matchup tomorrow against 6-0 South Fork. What are your thoughts on Pawnee, on South Fork, and kind of where they fit in the big picture when we get playoff time?
Well, I think one of the things Pawnee's going to have to do is they're going to have to shore up their run defense because George Bailey has been a man-child the last 2 weeks, rushing for well over 600 yards and 9 touchdowns against undefeated teams. That was going up against a St. Anne team and then a Metro East Lutheran team. Size-wise, on the line is definitely going to be in favor of South Fork. Now, that does not necessarily mean that they're going to win the line of scrimmage, but ultimately it could lead that way. The thing that is great about Pawnee is, you know, quarterback Caden Ward has thrown for 3 yards shy of 1,500 yards already. He's completing 67% of his passes, and he's thrown 22 touchdowns to just 1 interception on the year. The downfall to that is that Pawnee does not have a very good rushing attack this year with the absence of Carson Wart due to graduation. They have yet to find the guy that can replace him. Likewise, they've opened up that passing attack more to probably get Caden Ward more numbers, which isn't a bad thing. They have good receivers to go with it. But, they're missing some guys from last year's team that were very impactful players that maybe didn't always stand out on the score sheet, but they did in other aspects of the game for the Indians. Right now, Pawnee is the projected favorite. I do have Pawnee projected to win. I will not be surprised if South Fork comes out with the win. They're playing very well. South Fork, these seniors have not beat Pawnee in their career, and they're looking forward to it. And, of course, the game's going to be played in Kincaid at Jack Hanlon Stadium, and so it's a home game, and it's going to have a huge crowd. I know there's a lot of people from around the central part of the state. They're all going to be going to Kincaid to watch this game, rightfully so. I was toying around with the idea of making the 3.5-hour trip south myself to go see it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that work. Yeah. But regardless, I'm going to be watching it in some facet because I'm very intrigued by the matchup. Obviously, if South Fork wins and then they eventually win out, they are going to be potentially the 1 seed or 2 seed, depending on what Milledgeville does in Week 9 with that game with North Shelby. If South Beloit goes undefeated, because there's a good probability that they could beat West Carroll or Polo or both, they would then move into that 1, 2, or 3 seed as well. So there's still some very good variables that can happen here that will change up some of the dynamics that we're looking at in 8-man football. Either way, no matter how it all plays out, man, them quarterfinal and semifinal rounds are going to be huge. We're going to see some big first-round games too.
I just feel like when I've looked at kind of 8-man landscape, what Pawnee did last year and what they have coming back and the way they've played so far is now it all depends on kind of the bracket and how it all shakes out. Is this Pawnee team one that could kind of break the mold of where we've seen our schools from the Northwest kind of make that run to state? And it's been Milledgeville versus Amboy or Ridgewood versus Amboy. It's been our area, Polo, winning state championships. Is this Pawnee team one that could break that mold, depending on seeding?
I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
I've watched Pawnee. I've watched South Fork. I've watched Martinsville. I've watched St. Anne. I need to watch Metro East Lutheran, but I've seen some clips on them. And right now, the 2 best teams, and it's really not even close, is Amboy and Milledgeville.
Okay. Now, will they play in a semifinal or will they be able to play in a championship game?
That's the question.
Yeah.
That's the question.
To be determined.
If Amboy gets the 5 seed and Milledgeville gets the 1 seed, they're going to be on the same side of the bracket. If Milledgeville gets this 2 seed and Amboy gets the 5 seed, they're going to be on opposite sides.
Yeah.
If Milledgeville gets the 1 seed and Amboy stays at the 6, they're going to be on opposite sides. Those are the playouts that need to happen. It's very critical that Milledgeville wins Week 9.
Okay.
And it would also help if potentially South Beloit beats Polo.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Man.
But and honestly, South Beloit's another team. I don't know if they'll stand up to the test of a Milledgeville and an Amboy in the physicality parts, but they have the pieces put together that they could be a team to watch for in these playoffs.
Interesting. All right. I love it. I love it. Mitch, what else you got here? We're over 2 hours now. we're probably wrapping things up, but what are your takeaways? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the wrap it up light is blinking heavy. No, I think it's great that we're going to see both division champs in the track next week.
Yep.
I off the top of my head, I don't know that I can pick that at the moment, but it's just cool that there's that crossover and we get to have both great champions going at it against one another. A lot to be played out, I think, still in the NUIC. Certainly, we're going to get Dupec and Stockton, and that could be what determines that conference. There's still some Week 9 games that could throw a wrench into things too, but we're getting closer. Certainly, we've talked about playoff projections this entire show, and that could change a lot in the next 2 weeks with teams going up or teams coming down or whatever it may be. So this is fun, and these next 2 weeks are really going to be exciting. And then we'll be talking playoffs here real shortly.
Stock, you're pointing your pen. Here you go.
Last week, when I was referencing Erie Prophetstown went over Riverdale, I misidentified the person who gave the stats from Erie Prophetstown. His name's Bryce, and Bryce did a wonderful job tonight with the updates from the game in Orion, and also he had a very good video of Keegan Winkler scoring a touchdown. So I just wanted to make that statement that I misidentified him. So I thought I'd make sure I identified him properly as Bryce this week, and Bryce did a wonderful job, as always, with the Erie P-Town updates, and also that video he shot of Keegan Winkler.
Yeah, love it. I believe that me and Shimdog, Zach Shimon, were in Geneseo tonight, and he's listening along. He's been watching along all night tonight. So shout out to Shimdog. Appreciate all of his help, all of his coverage. So, all right, boys. I think we've covered it all. We've instant reacted to all things Friday in Week 7. Now that big game tomorrow, Kyle, between Pawnee and South Fork, we'll keep that one updated because that certainly affects our local teams. But I think that for our local area, Week 7 is wrapped up here. So there he is.
Yeah.
There he is, Shimdog. Always a great time. Happy to help. We thank you. We appreciate you. So, all right. Well, Kyle, thanks so much for being here. Stock, thanks so much for being here.
Monroe's 30, Monroe's 30, Rockridge 28.
That you're calling a prediction out right now?
Monroe's will win at 30-28.
All right. Well, Mitch and I will get into it. That's a good segue to the Tuesday show. Mitch, you're not ready to make any predictions quite yet, right? I don't want to put you on the spot here.
No, I don't think so. Got to think about it for a little bit.
I got Rock Ridge. I'll go opposite.
Well, yeah, you caught us way off guard. You had Monmouth Roseville losing 2 games, which threw me and Mitch way off when we were reading your projections last week. So
Newman's slowly slipping, but Rock Ridge is definitely quickly rising.
Okay. Well, hey, overall, I appreciate it. I love what you guys bring to the show. I just want to say, as a quick kind of, not side note, but just quick note in general, I appreciate the positivity. Brian Stocking will remember that Dan Pearson always said, accentuate the positive on a Friday night in high school football. And I think that sometimes in the middle of everything that gets lost. And I just want to say that what we're doing here is accentuating the positive. It's what I learned from Dan Pearson. It's what I will continue to do on this show. Mitch, I know you agree. Kyle, I know you agree. Stock and Dazzo and everybody else that we bring on this show. That's what we're doing here, and I love it. I think that, yep, we make some picks and we have some fun with it. We're not picking against anyone. We're picking 4 teams that we believe in and that we want to promote. And so I just love promoting the high school football on this side of the state. And I think it's important to kind of get those names out there and just have some fun with it along the way. So, hey, boys, we're going to keep promoting the positive. We'll be back again, instant reacting next week. Mitch, you and I will jump in. Our episode will be out on Tuesday morning, looking at Week 8 of the high school football season. here we go. It's go time. It's week 8 of, you know, some big games which we talked about, some conference titles to be officially settled, and some playoff berths to be earned. So get ready. It's coming, Mitch.
I'm ready.
All right. He's done. He's cashed out.
Done.
He's officially done. All right, boys. Thanks, Stock. Thanks, Kyle. Mitch, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody who listens. We'll be back on Tuesday.